Hey, my friend, I just wanted to send you, or have at the beginning of this video, a very quick reminder that this is a pre-recorded challenge training. And so if I reference things in the Facebook group or, you know, things that people have said, it's not part of this challenge. I hope that makes sense. And to remind you to take a screenshot of you watching this training and post it over in social media land. And make sure you tag me. If you don't know what my tag is, send me a quick email. I will respond. I will let you know. Don't you worry your beautiful little face about it. Okay? Go watch the training, do some good learning, and don't forget to do your homework. And yeah, we're going to dive in and we're going to get started for today. Okay, so guys, for those of you who have done training series and challenges with me before, a lot of the same general themes are the same of what we're talking about, but like it's not the same, especially this round, because I had an epiphany back in January, which seems way longer than a month ago, but I finally was able to put into words like this framework and this thing that we've been talking about for years. Like since I started coaching in the online space 3.5 years ago, like a lot has happened. And yet the thing that I help all of you do has not changed. Like I'm still here helping you build consistency, build a sustainable business so that like you can run your life. And so if that is the thing that you want, welcome. Welcome to being in the right place of like wanting things to be as simple as possible. That doesn't mean they're easy. It just means they're simplified. Wanting them to be as simple as possible so that we can continue to grow and move and like live our lives, especially when we have like tiny humans who don't give two F's that you're like trying to run a business. Like my kids don't think that I work, which is hilarious. They're just like, yeah, mom's on her computer a lot. I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's what I do for work. My mom even had to like tell them last week. She was like, no, that's how mommy works. That's what she does. So their like perception of what that looks like is totally different. And I'm kind of grateful that they don't really know what it looks like when I work, because I'm very intentional with that time. I've simplified my business to the point where I don't need to be working in all of the mommy cracks of time. That doesn't sound fun to me. So we're going to talk about simplifying your business so you can make a lot of money and not have to like spend all of your waking hour and times in life on it. Okay. That's what we're doing. I'm gonna share. All right. So my friends who are over on Zoom, feel free to drop stuff in the chat, questions, whatever. If you have a really good aha, I'd love to hear those. If you're over in Facebook, same thing, like engage with me as if we are in the middle of a conversation, like put the things in there that are sparking ahas for you or questions that are coming up so that we can answer them. Like I mentioned in the video, the Start Here video in the Facebook group, I don't want you to feel like you can't ask me a question because we're in a challenge and you think I'm not going to answer it. Like I'm not here to like gatekeep things. We can definitely work through anything that's coming up for you. If you're like watching one of the trainings and it's like, okay, Lise, but I've tried that before and it's not working. I want to work through why it's not working with you. Okay. We're here to make change and move through and move on and have just an amazing time. Okay. Drop a yes in the comments if you are ready. You are ready to talk about simplifying your business and the simple way to create 5K months in your business. All right, we are ready. So the simple way to 5K months, working 20 hours a week with dreaming clients and sticking in your zone of genius. Cool. All right, today we're talking about what it actually takes to make consistent 5K months. Isn't that the same thing as just working to make 5K every single month? There's some strategy behind it when we want the consistency piece, and you don't want to have to feel like you're working super duper hard every single month to hit that income mark, or an income mark higher than that, or an income mark lower than that. The point of it is consistency. 5K just tends to be this really nice number that a lot of us can relate to, and a lot of done for you service providers have as like, this is a benchmark for me at the very least. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about the simple framework, the framework itself that is going to get you to those consistent 5K months and get your business to where you want it to be without having to add anything new. I'm not against digital products. I'm not against starting an agency. I'm not against becoming a coach if those are the things you really want to be doing. I just don't want it to be what you feel like is the only answer to this problem of not making as much money in your business as you want to be making. Okay. And then day 3, we're going to talk about landing your next dream client and then doing it on repeat. Because I don't know about you, but like, I only want to work with people that are dream clients. And for a lot of us, that feels like a nice to have thing instead of a must have thing. And so we're going to start shifting some of that mindset so that like dream clients is a must have thing. Okay. All right. If you are not already in the Facebook group, make sure that you click that link and you join the Facebook group, because that's where all of our out of conversation is going to be happening, is over there. All of the homework is happening over there. We have daily homework prizes. So you answer the questions, and then the next day I'm going to draw a winner for the daily homework prize, which is a $10 gift card of your choice. And then if you answer the homework every single day, you will get entered to win the grand prize, which is half off of the 5K Roadmap Bootcamp, which I will introduce to you tomorrow, and we will continue to talk about this week. And then through all of this, you are earning badges, which earn you points. And the person who has the most points at the end of our challenge, I will send you a $50 gift card of your choice. So you want to participate. It is in your best interest. And you all are already there because you are joining me. All right. So today we are talking about what it actually takes to reach consistent 5K months. It doesn't have to be this thing that you kind of luck into. It gets to be something that is very strategic and intentional. And that is the thing that I want for you, because I know from personal experience, like what that feels like to be on either end of it, to be constantly trying to reach that income goal, which was a must-have for me. But then to actually get to that point where it was consistent, and the ease that was brought with that, and the way that I was able to live my life after I finally got to that consistent income point was huge, like so huge. And I want that for you, because done for you service providers in particular make things so much more complicated than they actually need to. Okay. The big thing, and this is going to be a general theme of what we talk about, what got you to where you are now is not necessarily the thing that's going to get you to where you want to go. Building your business to consistent income months is different than when you first started your business. Because I want you to think about it. When you first started your business, one, I mean, at least for me, we're going to talk with me, and if that resonates with you, like drop a yes or a 1 in the comments. But when I started my business, I had no idea what my niche was going to be. And so everybody who pushes VAs and service providers into like, you need to find a niche as fast as possible, like that's a very uncomfortable place to be if you've never done anything like this, which was totally me. Like I had never even entertained the idea of working for myself, let alone like what sort of services I would provide, or like there were so many different paradigm shifts that were happening inside of me. It was just insane. And so I was being pushed to like niche down when the reality was like, I wasn't ready for that yet. And that was okay. And I wish somebody had told me that that was okay, because I would have stayed in that okayness longer and actually tried out more things to see what the things were that I wanted to do. And so when you're a newbie, like that's what you're doing. You're trying out different niches, you're trying out different skill sets. You're saying, like, okay, I'm open to trying to figure out what the things are that I actually enjoy doing. What am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? Like, where does this lie? And so you spend a lot of time kind of just reading off of what people are saying they need help with. Would you agree? Drop a one if that feels like kind of where you were at when you started. You were waiting for somebody else to kind of tell you what they needed help with. And then you were deciding, cool, yeah, that's something that I can totally help you with. So yeah, I mean, you're trying to figure out what the things are that they need help with. And that's great. That's absolutely where you need to be when you first start out, because you don't know what you want to be doing. The problem is that then it becomes very difficult to keep clients once you do figure out what the thing is that you want to be doing. Once you've like figured out what you want your niche to be, and once you want your skill set to be, that then it becomes like, oh no, now I have all of these clients doing something I don't really want to be doing, but I need that income in order to like support the life that I want to be living, working from home, getting to do all of the things with my kids. And so we kind of get stuck in this catch 22 where like, you want to be bringing on clients in a specific area, right? You want to be serving them in a specific way. And yet, when we get into this like desperate place of like, I need a client, I need to like bring on some money, like I need money, then we start taking on clients in all of these different facets that are not the right ones. We're sacrificing the long-term success of our business for this short-term gain. And realistically, that compromise ends up affecting so many different things in the future. And you end up building a business that you don't actually love. If I were to ask you right now, on a scale from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, how much you actually love the work that you're doing and the people that you're working with and the way that you've built your business, where would you be at? 5 being like, I totally love everything I'm doing, the way that I'm running my business, everything is great. I know like for Jennifer, she was working with somebody and like she had built a really good relationship with them. And yet the work that she was doing with them was not work she wanted to be doing. And that gets really hard because how do you get out of that? How do you take the next leap into having this business where you're doing both working with people you love and doing work that you love? Like Liz mentioned that she loves the people she's working with, but she doesn't love the work that she's doing. And you can love people all day long, but if you don't love the work that you're doing, eventually you're going to burn yourself out. Okay. So, quick timeline. of how I started my business, where we were at with our done for you service providing space. So I started my business in May of 2018 as a general VA, as many of us do. Like I told you, I had no idea what my niche was going to be. I had no idea how I was going to serve people. I had no idea that I was even going to do this. And then there was just like a thing that I started doing. And because of all of the advice that I was getting, and because of the person that I was back in May of 2018, landing my first client was really, really hard. I didn't have a vast network. I'm incredibly introverted. And so talking to new people was terrifying. And so it took me a good 6 months until December of 2018 to actually land that first client. And I was only making $150 a month, which was not going to replace my 9-to-5 income. And then it still took me another 6 months to finally start seeing momentum in my business. I made a lot of mistakes. The thing is, I needed to be making $5,000 every single month in order for me to quit my job. That was a must-have. There was no workaround. And so when I was going into these calls, I wasn't showing up with confidence. I went on like 16 or 17 discovery calls that all ended in a no or ghosting and whatever. And part of that was my discovery call process. And part of that was that there was this misalignment with what I needed to be able to charge to serve people well. But the thing that they were seeing was the dollar sign, not how I was going to help them transform their business. And that's on me. That is not on them. You as the service provider needs to be able to communicate with your clients like how you're going to be able to transform their businesses. This is one of those shifts that we have to make. It's no longer about them telling you how you're going to help them. It's about you telling them how you are going to help them and transform their business in a way that they can see that they need help. But I did finally start to see momentum. And it was great on the surface. I had like 9 clients. I was doing all kinds of things. I was landing yeses all over the place. But that's not a good thing. When you're trying to serve that many people in all of the different capacities that I was trying to serve them, it doesn't result in a great client experience. It also put me on the docket of like being a like expense. And so it wasn't something that they needed. And so in the matter of a month, in December of 2019, I lost 2/3 of my clients. And so I had to make a big decision about what I was going to do. Because I had been building my business. I was at like $3,000 a month by the time I lost 2/3 of my clients. And it was a huge hit, but it was mostly a huge hit for my ego of like, this is not really the best way to build a business. I had been so focused on the income goal that I needed to hit. And this was the thing that all of the coaches were telling me, and all of the noise in the online space was telling me, was that I needed to be able to hit this income goal because that was the thing that was going to allow me to stay home with my kids. I wanted my time freedom. And so I needed to hit that income goal, except that I was sacrificing so many things and I was doing it in the completely wrong way. It was not sustainable. And it's actually a blessing that I ended up losing 2/3 of my clients because I'm inherently terrible about breaking up with people. That was a general theme when I was dating. I would wait until they broke up with me. But it was a great blessing because it allowed me to see that the way that I was building my business was actually going to lead to me completely burning myself out if I continued that way. I just didn't even know it. And so I made some changes, and that is ultimately what we're going to be talking about through this entire challenge. Is like, what are the things that needed to change so that I went from struggling to be making $3,000 a month, working with 9 clients, doing work I didn't love all over the place. Like, it was just crazy pants, to being fully booked out in my business, working with clients that I loved, doing work that I loved, and feeling really, really good about everything that I was doing. Like, it almost felt too easy. Okay. So what was I doing that caused me to lose 2/3 of my clients? So this is the sort of like internal dialogue that I had to have with myself. I had to be really, really honest. Because if I was going to keep going in my business, if I was going to keep running a business, I knew that I couldn't do it the same way that I had been doing it. And this is a realization that I know a lot of service providers don't want to have with themselves, is like this realization of, crap, this is not going the way that I need it to be going. On the outside, it looked really great. I had 9 clients. I was getting a lot of yeses on my discovery calls. Like, I felt confident now that I could go into a discovery call and get a yes. But the thing was, there were a lot of things I wasn't doing right. And if I was going to rebuild my business, essentially, I needed to do it in a better way. I needed to do it in a more sustainable way. Because if I was going to quit my job, I needed it to be something that was reoccurring, not something that I felt like I was struggling to meet every single month. Okay. So some of the mistakes that I was making, I was collecting clients. It was like, cool, you're a client, I need you. It was merely transactional. And it kills me to say that, because as somebody who is an introvert, one of our like superpowers is that we're really great at building relationships. And I wasn't building relationships. It was very transactional. And so that's one of the things that led them to them being like, cool, well, I'm looking at my numbers and this doesn't really seem to be making any sort of impact. And I couldn't communicate with them what impact I was making. And so then it was easy to say, hey, I'm going to not be working with you anymore. The next one, I wasn't owning my niche. Like, I had a niche. I told people I did something. I told them that I could help them with organizations and systems in the back end of their business. And I wasn't doing that for any of my clients, because that is not the thing that people were coming to me for help. And the most important thing, I couldn't communicate with them why that was something that was important, or even what that looked like for their business. So of course, nobody's going to hire me to do that. I was being very reactionary. You tell me what you need and I will do that thing for you. Can you build a business like that? Sure. You just aren't in control of who you're working with and the type of work you're doing. You're just kind of responding to anybody and anybody who's coming to you. And you'll make money, but you might hate your business. I was taking on small contracts. This was one of the big things that I shifted. I created this minimum that I knew that if people came to me and they wanted to work with me, there was a minimum amount of money and amount of work that I would do for them in order to work with them. Because I had one client and the only thing I was doing for her was scheduling out her like Facebook posts. once a month. It took me like an hour to do it. She was paying me like $70 a month, which is fine on paper. Like hourly, that looks great. Except that like it's still another client to manage. It's still another client to create this really great client experience for. And it wasn't happening. And then the other thing that I wasn't doing is I had zero client management. I had to count on my fingers how many clients I had. And the number of things that slipped through the cracks because I wasn't actually managing what was happening was huge. So Jennifer said I did the same thing at first and said yes to anything close to marketing. I definitely learned quite a bit, but anything but my niche. Absolutely. And John said, been there, done that. And that was when I had a job. So I couldn't fire my clients who made me miserable. Absolutely. So much of how I was running my business very much reflected the way that I had been operating inside of a 9-to-5 job. It's that employee mindset that's so hard to drop, where so many of us are used to not being in the driver's seat of whatever job we were in before. And so to be in the driver's seat of your own business is so difficult. The most important thing though was like, I was sitting there and I was like, dang, is this really even worth it? I was just kind of ready to be done because it felt like it was so hard. Everything felt hard. And to try and manage that many clients while then also trying to find more clients because I needed to hit this income goal in order to quit my job. I was exhausted. Absolutely, John. It felt like the business owned me, not that I owned the business. And so I had to make some choices. So what exactly changed? I lost 2/3 of my clients, and then 6 months later, I was completely booked out. Like, how was I able to do something in 6 months that I wasn't able to do in the first 18 months of my business? It started with that reflection piece, which is absolutely something I want every single one of you to do. If you do nothing else during this entire challenge, like, let's figure out where your business is at right now and why you are not reaching the things you want to be reaching. Why does your business not look the way you want it to? Because if you can't be honest with yourself about those things, it's going to be very difficult to make it happen. What happened to my cute picture? It's very cute. Oh well, Canva. What are you gonna do? So I was talking with somebody last week. Back to the question of like what exactly happened. What is the shift that we have to make between being a newbie and being someone who is a more veteran done for you service provider, somebody who's niche down, somebody who's like, I'm really not doing anything else other than being a graphic designer, than being a social media manager, than being a video editor, than being an event planner, than being an OBM. Like, how do I get to, like, what is the big thing? Somebody asked me this last week and I had thought about it for like a day and a half. It's like, what is the thing? Because there's a lot of little things that you have to do, of course. We don't want them to be big, giant, huge things we have to do because that's overwhelming and you won't actually do them. But like, what is the overarching theme? And it comes down to intentionality. When you're a newbie, you're waiting for somebody else to kind of tell you what you're doing. You're in a more reactionary space. But after you've niched down, after you've picked the thing that you want to be working with people in, and you know, this is how you want to be serving people, going back to then just serving people in in a way that they're like telling you what to do and you're making a lot of compromise, that's not intentional. It needs to be intentional. Okay. You're intentional with who you're willing to work with. You're intentional with your pricing. You're not just waiting for somebody to tell you how much they're willing to pay you and for you to say like, cool, well, let me figure out what I can do for that price. No. You are standing in your power and saying, this is how much it costs to work with me in this capacity. You're intentional with how you connect with people and who you are connecting with. And this is a big one. You got to be intentional with your boundaries. This intentionality that you bring to your business is the biggest shift from being a newbie into somebody who's actually running their business and not just waiting for somebody else to tell them what's next. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, at least that's where like you and I were talking last week about like setting boundaries. And I mean, well, first of all, I'm a born people pleaser. That was a thing with me. And then whenever I had a job where I was in sales, where I mean, I would just do anything and everything for my clients, and I let them do where I mean, let them have me do whatever they wanted me to do for them all the time, because I was afraid like if I say no to them, then they're going to drop me, and then my boss is going to get angry at me and I'm going to lose my job. So for to have it where now I can say, hey, this is what I am willing to do, but these are the things I am absolutely not willing to do. I mean, now there's some things I might make adjustments or whatever. I'm like, I can work with you on, we can negotiate something, but there's other things where like, no, I absolutely will not do this. And if you can't respect that boundary, then we can't work together.
Absolutely. Ashley said her word for 2024 is intentional or intention, which is it's just so perfect. Victoria said like this is the shift that she needs. Here's the thing. I was talking to somebody else last week and she said, I asked her how her business was going, and it's somebody that I've worked with before. And she said, she's gained a few more clients, but like she's still feeling this like misalignment with what she's doing. And she said, I mean, she's had referrals come in, but they're like not necessarily clients she wants to be working with. And that's the thing. If you're not being intentional with the people you're saying yes to, or the work that you're taking on, then you are unintentionally building a business that's like not the thing that you want to be doing. And you end up, like I said before, you're making compromises in areas that you may not even be aware that you're making compromises. And you wake up one day and you're like, holy crap, this is the business that I've built. Dang. Why are none of my pictures loading? Oh, there we go. Okay, so that brings us to the simple framework. So like, where does the intentionality come from? We have like the different areas that you need to be intentional. How do we simplify the business though too? How do we make things more simple in what we are doing? And so this is the simple framework. We set the goal, the intention, setting yourself up for success. If you don't know where you're going, like how many of you would ever get into a car with the intention of driving in a general direction, but like have no idea how to even get there? Like that feels so terrifying to me. And not just like, I'm going to go for a drive, but like, I need to get myself to the doctor's office and then hoping that you like wind up there. No. The same is true for your business. You can't just like hope that you're going to end up working with dream clients and like doing the thing that you want to be doing. You have to set a goal. You have to set yourself up for success. And you got to figure out what the roadblocks are going to be that are in your way. It's intentional. We are intentionally putting ourselves in the position to be successful versus just like, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yes, John.
Yeah, I'm going along with the whole boundary thing too, is like something that's very similar, but managing expectations too. Because I've had people approach me where they want me to get them sales yesterday, and I said that's not marketing, that's not what I do, and even then I can't possibly get you sales to. Maybe that's is going to happen, but I can't guarantee it. I mean, that's it's possible, but it's not likely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Setting that intention for them as well is huge. So the next piece, once you've really set that goal for yourself, then we have to figure out who that ideal client is and who they're not. This is like a huge thing. So many of us are terrified to specify who it is that we actually want to be working with. Who is that dream client? Because we're so afraid that we're going to turn off other people. And the reality is like, if you're trying to drive down 7 different streets, you're never going to get to your destination. You got to pick one. The next piece is talking to people and doing market research to figure out what it is that those people want in terms of the services and the ways that you can serve them. You have to hear it from them. The things that they point out as being like the biggest struggles, the things that they are really, that's keeping them up at night, those are the problems that you want to be able to solve, and not just like solve in the services and in your packages and in your offers, but like be able to communicate it with them. But it's really hard to communicate something that you don't know exists. And so that market research is like the linchpin to making everything else that much simpler and that much smoother. The next piece is putting those no-brainer packages together. And the way that I put packages together is completely different than any other coach that I have ever seen. A lot of times, especially the newbie done for you service providers, when they put packages together, they're like hourly packages. And again, when you're a newbie, that makes sense. But once you niche down, like more than likely, if you niche down, that means you are faster at doing something. And so if you're working for an hourly rate, it is now punishing you for being good at the thing that you do. So like, we don't do hourly things. You want your packages to be so no-brainer that when you're talking with people, you're able to send them that packaging sheet. They look at it. They're like, cool, this is awesome. You getting on a discovery call is like the last final straw of working together. Not the first one. This next piece is the big piece. This is the thing that you, quite honestly, should be doing most of the time. And it's the legwork, networking, and creating authority building content so that when people find you, they're like, oh, John is amazing at video content. Like, of course I want to hire him. How can I find out more information about working with him? And when I say networking, when I talk about networking with people, it's talking to people one-on-one. You want the fastest way to gain clients, that is it. You have to go talk to people one-on-one, and you have to form connections with them one-on-one. The online space is so noisy and so loud at this point that like, if you are not making one-on-one connections with people, they are forgetting about you. And then that last piece, once you start working with those dream clients because you vetted them while you were doing your legwork, the beautiful thing about you reaching out to people is you get to say, this is a person that I want to work with. Not somebody just coming to find you and saying like, cool, they might be a good person to work with. you're creating a really excellent client experience. It keeps them coming back. It keeps them wanting to work with you. And that's where the consistency comes from. And even if you are somebody who's been doing, you do something that's more project based, like a VIP day or something like that, having a retainer on the back end or some way to follow back up with them and show them that, like, these are other ways that we can work together, create that consistency, create that long-term client, even if it's not necessarily retainer work. The other big thing that you need to do with yourself is you have to map it out. You need to know how many clients you're currently working with right now. You have to know the capacity of your time and your energy that you have available to bring on new clients. The number of people that I have talked to who've said, like, I want to work 20 hours a week, but they don't have 20 hours to work. Like, you can't work 20 hours a week if you don't have 20 hours. You can't bring on 3 new clients if you don't have the space and energy to bring on 3 new clients. We want to make sure that all of this is that we've taken the time to figure out what we need to do so that we have that set goal. We know what we're working toward. And you've set yourself up for success. We're not striving to land 10 clients, knowing that realistically your capacity is like 2. That would be crazy pants. Nobody needs crazy pants. The other thing that hold on. The other thing that I find so important and helpful when putting all of this together is, like, you got to know why you're working towards it. I see so many entrepreneurs, people working towards a specific, like, income goal, and it's just a number. And if it's just a number, it's not going to mean anything when you hit it. I mean, they just, like, and so then it also makes it that much harder to hit it because it doesn't mean anything. Go ahead, Victoria. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I interrupted you. So
You're good.
it just made me think of last year I did a coaching program that was like one of their goals was to get everybody to 10K months, right? And I don't have the capacity for a 10K month. I just don't have it. And they couldn't understand that that wasn't my goal. Like, I don't have the time. It's a goal for like the future.
Totally.
But I don't have it in me. There's just so many hours in the day.
Right.
And that was
And
just so, like, they just could not get past that. I just, like, that wasn't my goal. Like, I guess it in the long term, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be great. My husband would be thrilled,
Sure.
but I don't have the time.
Right. And, like, it's that money goal, that, like, 10K month is not worth sacrificing the reason why you started your business in the first place. If you are sacrificing the real thing that you want, then you're not actually accomplishing anything. You're going to be miserable because it's going to be like, cool, I got like 10K months, but, like, I don't ever get to see my kids. I, in fact, probably see my kids less than I did when I was working at a 9-to-5 job. So, like, whatever. I still have to put them in daycare all the time. And, like, I don't get to do any of the fun things that I want to be doing with them. I mean, I am very much of the space that, like, I am building my business so I can live my life. I'm not building a life so that, like, I can just run my business. That's not That's not what I'm working toward. So that's the big thing. Like, if you want to make more than $5,000 a month, like the framework is still going to work for you. If you want to make $3,000 a month, the framework is still going to work for you, because it's about the consistency and the life that you build around your business, not the other way around. Okay, so what is next for us, my friends? Here's the deal. Today's homework. There are questions that are going to pop up in the Facebook group, which is going to be really important that everybody's in the Facebook group in order to get there. They are the questions that are on the previous slide. So like the mathematical, where are you questions, and like, where are we going? All right, so make sure you answer those and drop them over in the Facebook group. I believe they're also the questions in the workbook, if I can remember. You guys will be so proud of me. I actually looked through everything yesterday and didn't just toss it up. So answer those questions. It's really important to know where you are starting from in order to really figure out the best way to get to where you want to go. It's not just some arbitrary thing that we are pushing towards, like a 10K month. And it's not that a 10K month is not attainable. It's just like, why? Why do you want this thing? Okay. Remember, we have our daily prizes for answering that homework. I will draw names for anybody who has done the homework by the time we start tomorrow. So at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you have answered the homework question, like, please don't do it at 12 p.m. Your name will not be on the wheel. Okay. A one-woman show over here. But make sure you do that, so then your name will be on the wheel. We'll draw for that daily prize tomorrow morning. And then the same is true for day 3. And then I will pop in on Friday and draw for the day 3 prize winner. You earn badges and points every time you participate in the group. So like daily homework, showing up and doing like commenting on the videos, whether you're live or over in the Facebook group, watching the replay. You earn points that way, introducing yourself, inviting friends to come and join, making a reflection about what we're doing. So many different ways. That post of like, how do you earn badges? What are the points? All of the things is also over in the Facebook group. It is pinned to the featured section. And then that grand prize, answer all of the daily homework questions and you are qualified for that grand prize, which is half off of the 5K Roadmap Bootcamp, which we'll talk about more tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow we're meeting here again at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, diving in deeper into this simple framework and like what that actually looks like for your business. What pieces, like really what's going to be important is for you to look at that and be like, cool, where am I at? What do I need to do? So that your business is simplified. We want a simple business, not a complex business that like we don't even know how it runs. Because the more simple your business is, the more money you can make from it. Cool. For my friends who are on Zoom and my friends who are over in Facebook land, questions and things that you have coming up. We have like 8 minutes left. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I think all the things you touched on are things I'm still like struggling with, even over 3 years into my business. And I still feel like I'm chasing a niche and, taking on clients that I shouldn't and all the things.
Yeah. We've all been there. trying to fit your like square peg into a round hole, and it's like, why is this not fitting? I'm trying so hard. I've shaved
And
off all of the edges.
trying different, you know, industries and having that just come back terribly. And
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard.
so
Here's the thing, just because we want to simplify things does not mean that are not going to be like bumps in the road, and it doesn't mean that that thing is not like mentally and emotionally hard to get through. And when we get to the other side of it, like it does get to be easier.
yeah.
It doesn't have to just be hard.
Someone mentioned their word for this year was intentional. Mine is functional. It has to work with the craziness.
That's so huge. So huge. Liz said, I feel more confident with intention and boundaries with new and potential clients, but I really struggle to implement that with current clients. Totally. I mean, this is the thing that nobody talks about. Like, they don't talk about how hard it is to like transform your business while still working with old like clients that you've been working with. Like, how do you make it all mesh so that you're not driving yourself crazy with the old boundaries and expectations you may have set before? It's a work in progress. For sure. John, how are you feeling? I love the new niche statement. Man,
Thank
that
you.
is like some powerful stuff.
It's almost like I have a marketing background.
What?
Every once in a while, the little night light bulb flickers on overhead my.
Utilize it when it comes.
Yeah.
All we can do.
No, it's a thing where like especially where I wasn't intentional before, and we through your coaching, I have gotten more intentional. I mean, I'm still needing to get more discovery calls and clients and all that, but at least I'm sticking with a program regularly as opposed to where I wasn't doing that before. So I am confident that as long as I do stay disciplined, and again, every once in a while you're gonna not get stuff done like you wanted, but you gotta make sure you get back on the horse and keep doing it. Eventually, it will, as long as you stick to the plan, stick to what you're doing, you are going to eventually not only just get clients, but get dream clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited. Good stuff. All right, my friends, replays over in the Facebook group. They will be pinned to the featured area. They're also over in the guide so that you can find them really easily along with the daily homework. And go do your homework. It shouldn't take you very long today. Tomorrow's might be a little bit more intense and a little bit longer, but it'll be good and useful, and you can do it. All right. If you have any questions that pop up, feel free to post those over in the Facebook group. The thing that I ask is that you just tag me, because Facebook likes to give me notifications for things I don't care about and very rarely gives me things for notifications that I do care about. So make sure you tag me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.